The undefeated is no more, as Lightside is capable of destroying Lion's Creed. This is a sentence I never thought I would say out loud. I'm surprised, I'm amazed, and I'm confused, but really hyped at the same time. A lot of feelings to digest at the beginning of this one. So let's talk about the early game and how Lion's Creed was giving so much, but Bucci was getting butchered. What happened?
Bucci gang, baby.
Yeah,
It was sick. It was absolutely sick. After he got ganked, died.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you've picked the Gwen into the Cassante. It's a winning matchup anyway, and now you've got the kill. Okay, cool. We'll see this one out. And then he solo killed. He actually got Banderas' number and was just had him for the rest of the game. It was really, really impressive from Bucci, especially in that top side. To be honest, the whole light side played really, really well.
Well,
I think it was genuinely draft diff. I really think the draft was the major thing that settled this. We said it in the champ select as well. We kind of highlighted, but Lightside have a really, really solid draft. There was a lot of tools for them to work with. They had the long range poke, and I a LeBlanc enthusiast, have to admit, as much as I understand the kind of the mindset on the AD LeBlanc there, because like I said, that's actually a very hard game to play LeBlanc into. You jump in, you just get popped. That's what happened, even with the AD, but that's not what you're meant to do with the AD. The AD is a bit more kitey and kind of stay out of range of the CC. It's not about landing your W. Yeah, there were some questionable positions there by Tempt. He might have been the MVP of that game, if we're completely honest. Like,
I think he was
not for his
the most
team,
impactful,
but yeah,
for sure. That was
he did offer a lot for that game, but just not in the right way.
Yeah.
I just honestly think all of Lightside played really, really well. Really, really impressive game, especially like we're saying, Bucci falling behind so much and just able to reel that game back and actually take over the top lane and become a complete menace.
So let's take this opportunity to talk with Lightside. I think we have Torak waiting for us in the interview. And there he is. Congratulations. Welcome to the interview. Before we start, okay, what happened?
Can you hear me well first?
Yes, hit me.
I don't know. I think we had no pressure at all. By the way, nice bettings against us, everyone. But I think the fact that we had no pressure, because they are obviously the favorites, and we started 0-2, which is really bad. I don't think we were playing well. We're not playing according to scrims. But I don't know. I felt like they were going to play better, at least the map. But I think they underestimated us a lot because they were taking fights that they couldn't ever win.
And this is something that I wanted to ask. From week 1 to week 2, knowing that you're going to fight versus Lion's Creed, which is the favorites to win it all, did you do any sort of preparation, like any sort of adaptation to your composition or gameplay? Or you just took like game by game?
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is game by game. I don't think we need to prepare against any team. I think the best way to do it is just focus on improving what we do ground. And it doesn't matter which team we face. If we play well according to our combo, we'll just win.
So now you're the Giants killer, and I need to understand, once you defeated the Nexus, or once you realized, hey, this is in the bag, was there any sort of reaction while you guys were talking on Discord, TeamSpeak? How was the ambience between the team? Tell me.
I think everyone was screaming. I think there are like 20 people in Discord right now, in the Discord of Lightside. But yeah, everyone was euphoric, so really nice.
If you had to say one thing to your fans or the fans of Lightside who are tuning in and like, wait, Lightside defeated Lion's Creed? What happened then? If you had to say anything to them, what would you say?
I mean, first of all, don't look at the first 2 games. We literally ran it. We didn't play the game. I also think the drafts were not good. But I don't know. I just be confident on us. I think we can beat anyone. And I think we proved it today.
Sounds reasonable. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I'll be sure to take another look into my predictions. Thank you so much for the warning. And it was a pleasure to talk with you, Torak. Best of luck for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
We run it down for the first 2 days, and we take it game by game, even versus Lion's Creed.
I think what this really does is, I think this actually shakes up kind of everyone's rough power rankings. I think, like, obviously, Lions Creed are still the team who everybody expects to be the best team in the league. But what I think it means is, I don't think, like, it means our bottom teams are strictly bottom teams and more just kind of in the middle. I think that's what it really does. It just kind of shakes up where our kind of middle of the pack looks like. Seeing seeing Lightside get that win. So that's kind of where I'm at on that front. I think, you know, right now, I think a lot more is up in the air. That kind of kicked a lot up.
Yeah, I agree. I think we heard Don Jake say that there are 5 teams fighting for 4 playoff spots.
Yeah.
I originally thought there were 6 teams fighting for 4 playoff spots. And one of those was not Lundqvist Lightside. So maybe there's 7 teams fighting for 4 playoff spots. And bear in mind, this is an 8-team league. So yeah, it's definitely throwing a spanner in the works.
You don't have to keep reminding us of that, you know.
If you want to get pedantic, technically there's 8 teams fighting for 4 playoff spots. But, you know,
Right,
realistically.
Jake, you got what I meant, bruv.
So let's jump into the interview. We have Banderas waiting for us, the top laner. We need to talk about a lot of things. Banderas, welcome to the interview. Obviously, you were not expecting this. So before we jump into the interview, I want to understand the matchup between Gwen and Seth. You actually had such a big lead. The state of the wave was so good for you. Not Seth, but I'm sorry, Xante. I hate that champion so much that I actually removed his name from my vocabulary. But versus Xante, he had to teleport to actually manage the wave. It was so good for you. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I got a bit greedy. Like, I had a freeze, and I was like, okay, I can just keep trading and, like, eventually all in. Like, I took the plant, so there's no sustain for him. So I was like, okay, I'll keep it and I'll all in. But I'm like, you know what? I think I can all in here. I think I got the angle, and then we play it out, and then he wins with like 1 auto attack, you know. And then I mean, kudos to him, you know. Like the minions fucking they clutched up, you know. But yeah, I mean, it was clean played by him, and yeah, I mean, not much else to say about the solo kill. Like just miscalculation from my part.
That is the matchup. It was a miscalculation, but then we go into the bigger picture. What happened in the game itself? It seemed like Lions Creed was giving away so many objectives. You didn't want to fight for specific things, but then you fought for other things that were not reasonable or necessary to begin with. What happened in terms of communication?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say, like, it was an off day. Like, I think our draft was also, like, it's not something, like, it wasn't really that easy to execute. Like, the moment they get the ball rolling, it's like they're really tanky, you know? Like, we have Jim, we have LeBlanc. Like, there's lack of damage. And the moment I lose my lead, you know? Like, that's all good matters a lot. Like, the moment I'm not there to shred the front line or, like, whatever, I just have to start trying to kill the back line instead. And then who's going to kill Kazanti, you know? They don't have enough damage to do that. Yeah, I mean, it just, fights became really hard, and we decided to contest things that we shouldn't have. Like, after we killed the Nautilus in mid, we're like, okay, maybe we can try and Baron and, like, turn on them. But, like, it wasn't that good of a call because they just poke us out. But, yeah, some miscommunication, but, you know, it happens. We just learn from it. And I think it's good that we get, like, this kind of, like, tested, you know? Like, I didn't expect it to be from Nightside, so we'll play it from them. But I think it's good we get tested before, like, we get to playoffs and further on. Because, yeah, I mean, not good to be too overconfident.
Yeah, Kasing was talking about it on a previous interview that he but he was finding it more reasonable and interesting to lose a few matchups so you can learn and adapt and work from behind. So instead of let's just winning it all, getting to playoffs and losing a game and then freak out, getting a loss on the stage is really, well, positive in the end of the day. So do you think this is going to affect the way you look into the rest of the split? Do you think the team learned anything from today, or?
Yeah,
It's a bad day.
I mean, yeah, I think to learn, but I think we need to like delve into it more and take stuff from it, you know? Like, I think it was good that it happened, but obviously it really sucks losing and we didn't expect it. And yeah, I mean, you can have regrets about it, but like we just need to shape up because at the end of the day, it's going to be us representing NLC in the EMEA, so we need to be in top shape for that.
Hey, that's confidence. I like that one. Banderas, thank you so much for the interview. I'll see you soon. Best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We're going to be representing NLC. That's a bold statement. Well, talking about that, can we bring up the bolds or broke from Hip Rain? Because
I got receipts. I'm safe. I'm safe, man. I've already posted the receipts.
Can we understand what Hiprain brought into the Boulder Broke? Hiprain says Eragon Eragon. Oh, Eragon to finish last in the prediction competition by the end of the split. I like this
That's
one.
happening. That's happening 100%. That guy's gonna in. He's already done it today, but that is the first of a bad sign for him. Like the omens have aligned. It's all doomed.
Okay, then Venom Crest will finish top 4. I get alongside this one. And
I don't think this is overly bold.
it's not.
But at the same time, like, I think they were an underestimated team at the beginning of the split. I think top 4, maybe because there's so much like talent at the top, I do think it is a little bit bold in that sense. But I think this is probably the safest thing I've said here. We can just cut this here. That's fine.
Okay,
We don't need to go any further.
let's jump to the last one. Lions Creed will go undefeated in a regular split.
All right. So I actually didn't come up with this one, and I was going to play this off as I'm a genius.
What?
But actually, what happened was I came up with those first two. The Aragon one came to me very easy, like just immediately. I knew Aragon was going to lose. Although to be fair, Initialize is turbo winting, so it actually he might be working against me in cahoots with Aragon to make sure that Aragon doesn't come last by losing for him. I did also hear Aragon has paid him 10 grand to lose, but we'll see. No, but I actually didn't come up with that Lions Creed thing because I couldn't come up with an idea. So Christian, who I can't say his online name because it's a bunch of letters and I have no idea.
Okay.
But Christian came up with that one for me, and if people don't believe me, I can post the receipts.
No one
online.
cares
Like,
about
you know what
the
I'm gonna
receipts
do?
for
I care.
Hiprain, I have to do it. I'll do an inside check for you. Let's see.
Insight.
Nah, you're lying. Let's move into the
Bro,
game of the day.
Scroll the on-air chat. Scroll the on-air chat. I
Venom
posted
Crest
it in there.
versus Natives. It is the match of the day. By the way, this is a massive dice. Look at this beauty.
That is a big old
Let's
dice.
talk about the match of the day and why is it the match of the day. We're about to jump into the champion select. Why is it so important? Fox, drop it.
Oh gosh, you've thrown me into it. Yes, Venom Crest, Natives. Brilliant, exciting stuff. So Venom Crest, despite being Jake's top 4 prediction, it is relatively bold. It's coming into last week. You know, it's a new team here, and we didn't really know what to expect from them. But they've 2-0. They've won all their games so far. Undefeated team here in the NLC. The only remaining undefeated team in the NLC, with Lions Creed dropping that last game. And Natives, obviously, we had expectations of these guys coming in. Their legacy here in the NLC is pretty storied. They've done some beautiful things, but wasn't looking too good in the last week. So this is where both teams now have to ask themselves the question: Venom Crest, are you as good as you showed in week 1? Are you a playoff team, or was it just a good week? And Natives, are you washed? Are you turbo crap? Or do you still have something to show us still here in the week 2? So this is why this is going to be the game of the week, and it will 100% deliver either way.
That
I think a lot of people put. Yeah, I mean, he's a flamer. What can I say?
I love it.
I think a lot of people put a lot of attention on Natives as like a top team. Venom Crest definitely slept on. I think the person who impressed me the most in week 1 was Zubak. He's really, really solid jungler. I was thoroughly impressed by his performance. I don't think this is an easy slam dunk. I really don't think this is this is a game I also put 5 points on for Venom Crest to win. And actually, I feel this was a riskier bet than the Nord one. Genuinely. I think Venom Crest, they're still a relatively new team with some new players. I think this is one where they could make those mistakes and throw it all out the window. But I'm so impressed by Zubak that I have a lot of faith in Venom Crest, and I think they're a very slept-on team. They're going to get their hands on the Varus, first of all. I expect this will probably just be a Jhin trade here by Rusty Sniper. A lot more ADCs are open than in the last game, but typically it has been the Varus Jhin handshake today. So that's kind of where I'm expecting. The question is Yaki going to go for the Xin Zhao as that jungle pick and get himself a powerful pickup there? Maybe not. Maybe changing things up.
Yeah, well, it's just a horror for now, but we've actually seen a distinct lack of Azir considering how strong it is in the meta. But yeah, it is going to be slapping that one down right here for Nulu. So going to be a relatively uninteractive mid lane here. I do think, as you mentioned, Jake, firstly, we've got it. We've got Nocturne has finally gone through Bigs and Bans here. Like, that's going to be good. That's going to be fun to watch. But again, quite a low low energy type jungler, just wants to get to like level 6 as soon as possible. So it does suit having that matchup in mid. I wanted to highlight bot side, but I don't even think that's relevant at this moment when you see these picks coming through, especially if that is Zubats Belveth, which is okay. So we're getting more of a farm style jungle matchup here, which we haven't seen too much so far in the NLC. It's been a lot about that early game, a lot about that aggression.
Belveth is scary with the Void Grubs post 6. You get a mini army of fishing grubs.
Yes.
It's not nice. She shows up with the whole fishing tackle and everything. Takes over a lane. I do think though for Deadhound on this Varus dealing with Nocturne, I hate it, but like it is really obnoxious. Playing into the Nocturne, just the lights go off and then you don't know where anything is. You've got to be very clear. A bit easier to play into Nocturne in like a team setting than in solo queue, because in solo queue people are just randomly pinging and you have no idea what's going on, but at least people can make calls in chat. But I think Natives right now drafting themselves a very, very solid team, getting their hands on that Cassante as well, someone who can really take over the top side of the map, as we just saw in our previous game. Painful picking up the LeBlanc into the Azir. Very interesting. Things like the Corki were open. The Orianna was open as well. Your typical go-tos into the Azir. Instead, opting into this LeBlanc. I'd be curious to see if Painful wants to go AP or AD. I think right now, I prefer the AP, because there's not as much ability to stop the LeBlanc like you would have in the last game. There was a lot of tools that could stop the LeBlanc from just Wing forwards, but AD obviously becomes a real menace in the side lanes as you go later into the game. So we'll see what the rest of the draft looks like, and that could probably determine what this LeBlanc's going to look like.
Final ban stepping in as Ornn is removed. Top lane still, we have no idea who's going to be playing for that one. Lenny has no champion yet revealed. The other side is about removing the AD carries and that utility like the Ashe, and even maybe the Jhin if they would like to remove it. Or although if you have the Nocturne, you might use an AD carry that can go a little bit into the team fight and be more proactive, although Jhin has been the pick of the day. And if I'm not mistaken, he has won both matches. This is the third one of the day. I think Jhin won both matches, so even the priority is on Varus. It's not bringing any rewards. Blitzcrank is going to be removed, so let's see the fourth pick out of Natives.
If you want some more engaged coming through from Natives, which they kind of lack as is, then you might want to go for something like that Nautilus or something along those lines. I really value a champion like Naught in this meta when there's low mobility carries flying around, because you just press R on them and you zone them for the whole duration of that ability channeling on them, right? So a few options available here. Both these teams kind of lacking in that engage. Obviously, Nocturne being able to jump into a fight is, you might think, ultimate engage, but hell no, you do not want to be the first one jumping in if you're Nocturne.
This is a weird over.
Yeah, no. I mean, if there's Eve with Belveth already picked, then shocking, but I don't think that's what we're going to see instead. Actual answer, hopefully, here into the Cassante, like a more of an interesting answer, someone that can put some pressure on this guy, because Cassante so far is just so difficult to deal with, very uninteractive really as far as lanes go, very strong at all points of the game, and maybe a little bit more pressure coming through here with that now.
See what this final pickup is going to be. Obviously looking towards the support here for Venom Crest. Again, another thing kind of talking about this team.
Okay.
Lacking in engage. If they go for the Heimerdinger, they are basically going to be wanting Natives to engage on them and them to peel back. I like the Heimerdinger here. I actually think that's really fun. It's going to take over the lane. We've already seen the Jhin struggle early into the Varus. Heimerdinger just makes that infinitely worse for them. And now looking towards Natives and their final pickup, actually looking towards something that may not go for that engage in the follow-up. They do lock in the Karma, so this kind of leans again into the problem. Like, Nocturne is your like first in, which isn't always a great call, because they can just get absolutely popped. You're jumping into turrets, you're jumping into just the amount of burst. I really want this to be AP LeBlanc. I think AD LeBlanc here is not a good pick. You're into the Karma, you're into the Jhin. Once you've got like the Shadow Flame and the Storm Surge in the build, I mean, I've seen some LeBlancs completely just ignore a mana item and rely on Mana Flow Band. I think you get Storm Surge, you get Shadow Flame, you can just pop Jhin, you can pop the Karma, you can pop the Azir. You have so many abilities to take out these squishies, and the only tanky person is going to be this Cassante. So I hope Painful recognizes that and goes for like an electrocute, burst LeBlanc here and not just look to play the side lanes.
Yeah, that's the thing that jumps out to me the most is how squishy both these team comps are. But I am really kind of struggling to identify a kind of a game plan for either one of these teams. They seem like quite unique team compositions where no one really wants to engage and no one really wants to play side lanes. And there's not really any poke coming through either. So it's going to be, I think, a lot of controlling areas of the map, getting that first movement in a lot of plays around vision and forcing the other team to kind of face check into and getting advantages that way.
So it's upon us to see if Venom Crest will go undefeated on this day to stay as the only undefeated team, or if Natives is capable of switching it around. I know the answer is 42, but I don't know the question. Maybe Aragon and Duckling knows it.
I don't think we know the answers to any questions anymore, Ashram, after what happened in that second game of the day. Anything Aragon is up in the air. The draft has been spicy. Magic could happen in this game, or we're in for a rough one. I think we're going to be thrown into a mud pile here where these teams just ham at each other, and we'll see who wins.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. I do think, right, so baseline, Natives do outscale, right? They have stronger front to back. They have Cassante front line with an Azir and a Jhin scaling in the back line. But in the early game, I'm inclined to believe that you have Prayer topside as the Gnar, as the LeBlanc into the Azir, as well as you have a very volatile bot side with the Varus Heimerdinger into the double range bot lane. This is pretty classic. So the jungler that can do a lot more with this volatility benefits, which is the Bel'Veth. You also have a really strong potential for grubs with these topside picks. So eyes on Venom Crest. How do they snowball? Lions Creed last game weren't able to do it so well, so we'll see if they can pull it off a bit better before the team fighting front to back comes online for the side of Natives.
And one of the things we talked about pretty early on in the draft when we watched this unfold was the Nocturne lock-in. We discussed it at the first game of the day. He's normally always banned in the first rotation. We would rarely see him. Why? Because there are so many strong combinations with the champion. Not only the champion itself being pretty strong. You got the Orianna you compare that with. That combo is absolutely disgusting. You mentioned the Nico as well. But when it finally gets through the draft, and I'll hold on to my point because we might be in for a little bit of level 1 chaos. Doesn't seem like it. But when you then get that Nocturne through the draft, you instead pair it up with the Azir, which was very confusing to me, considering I just thought that might have been a better option.
Yeah, you really want to play a lot of dive with Nocturne. So typically the pairings you do see is the Nocturne Orianna combo, which is really OP, as well as Nocturne Nico, right? To hide ultimates. You could do Nocturne Kennen, does the same sort of thing. Nocturne diving in with Azir, yeah, you know, it's alright. You have Jhin ulti over the wall, over the top as well when you engage with Nocturne. So it's not terrible, but I prefer pairing it off with a lot more. You can still use the darkness for team fighting front to back. Still, I do think their composition makes a lot of overall sense in terms of team fighting like that. They do have a frontline, backline, very simple to pull off. Venom Crest comp, however, is not so simple, right? And I want to see a lot more flexing from Painful and this LeBlanc into the Azir with this counter pick. I want to see the perma push down bot side. Who will come out on top in terms of the trades to be able to secure these turret platings? Because when you play Karma, you know, this champion, it's not that good. Right, when you play Karma, you have to come out a lane really far ahead because of the lane domination. And if you don't, generally, you're kind of a bot. Right, you don't contribute that much, so you really have to come out on top. And it looks like Venom Crest are getting the better of the trades early.
Yeah, this is something that you've taught me today during game 1 was, I mean, bot lanes in this game are very, very volatile, just concentrating back and forth.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the matchup really is. And we're seeing this AD carry matchup, in particular, 3 times back to back to back for today.
Oh yeah, you're right, actually. It has.
It is blue side Varus, it is red side Jhin for the 3rd time in a row. Varus coming out on top in one of those games, and Jhin coming out on the other one. What I will say though, and this is just my personal play-by-play, I am not an expert at the game opinion, I just don't like the Jhin in this current meta. Even if you get ahead, it just doesn't feel like you would be as useful as have you picked pretty much any other AD carry. Whereas I do really like the Varus. I think if you snowball on the Varus, you deal too much damage for anyone to really handle.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jhin, it's a counter in the sense that you can match the range, but you typically lose anyway. Look, I'm gonna be real with you, as it typically is. But the problem that Jhin has a lot of the time is, we talked about it a lot, but the ability to threaten neutrals, check, they've got an Azir for that now, right? I really like Jhin when it comes to, or a lethality champion down bot side when you do have a lot of DPS in the mid lane. So I like it paired off with Azir, so you can actually threaten the Baron. Another problem is when you're against too many tanky targets. Now, the side of Venom Crest doesn't really have a Cassante or anything like this, so you're not really too worried in terms of that, and Jin shouldn't get stonewalled by that too hard. Now, you see Venom Crest, these trades really matter, right? If they get low enough, then there could be a gank now. Yeike's on the way.
I think he might just go towards... No, he's not going
Flash?
towards the Scott. He's looking for the kill here. Flash
We need the
has
flash.
to be used, but holds on to it. Didn't realize Yeike was there, and natives will punish. First blood to Rusty Sniper. That's what you call a caster curse. Just flamed the champion Jin. Now he picks up first blood.
Yeah, in hindsight, he probably flashes there. Patsy, he realizes, you know, a chain CC comes anyway. And Jin just holds the W until he flashes after. So, really good awareness from Shawikatami and Yeike. Skipping the camps and just going to gank. Yeah, skipping the crab out and managed to find a gank. And it looks like the Nocturne's doing more early than a Belveth, which is surprising. Still, going to be able to full clear and find a gank anyway, as any champion can.
Yeah, and for Subak, there's just 1 minute until these Void Grubs are up and running. So, could look for those as well, considering he's on the top side. Still 50 seconds to go, though. And Shoei Katami, sorry, is in the area as well, as Painful goes in, despite seeing Lolo, will likely look to force his TP out, as Painful has already used his own.
No
He's
chain?
now being engaged upon. No chain, so can't really lock him up or get that extra bit of burst damage. Pazzi rotating up as well, just to get control. A lot of action early on, despite only needing to 1 kill. A lot of pressure being put down. And both teams want to make a statement here early on, as Subak now trying to steal this jungle camp away. Those Raptors. He'll get the small ones. The big one will go over to Yeike, who smites it.
Yeah. I'm still surprised that Belveth did not pat the bot side and cover that bot lane gank or play around bot in any kind of way because of the potential for the 3v3 and how strong your champion is early. One of the strongest early game champions for invades or any early action. Still, Lenny might be ganked here. Nice flash.
Oh, that's a really good flash. Fair play to him as Yeike goes in to try and help push out the wave. They want that wave control so they can get the grubs, but he needs good damage back. Smurf is slow, doesn't have a flash.
He's
Neither does
1v3.
Lenny after just using it, but walking forward, hops forward as well. Now Shorty Kamadi is the one in trouble. Will be taken down by Subak. Subak and finds the kill. This was Native's play. Venom Chris, they punish, they find the kill, and they'll find the Void Grubs as the prize.
Yeah, an outplay from Lenny, honestly, flashing and not Eing, which would have been interrupted by the Kasante W. And then Shoei Katami, despite having first move, doesn't manage to find anything, gets caught pinned against that huge new wall from the new season, and just ends up falling. Still doesn't flash or anything, doesn't try to flash the wall, just ends up dying, maybe saving it for a potential fight in the future. Still, this is the power of having so many counters in the top side here. Your skirmish is so good, right? You have LeBlanc perm push in the mid lane, you have Gnar outplaying top side because of the soft counter, and you see that, look at that top lane CS discrepancy, it is nasty.
Wow, oh my god. I didn't even notice that, Aragon, and despite just 6 minutes being played, that is a big difference. 700 gold lead now between these two top laners as well. Venom Crest, a real surprise so far in our league. A team I looked at saying, I really don't know where to rate these guys. They could be at the bottom of the table, they could be okay, but when you have 5 new names, the only one I really recognize being Painful from NLC Division 2, promoting into NLC Division 1. I mean, I thought, yeah, maybe they could contest, but I didn't expect much out of the roster. But they've surprised me, just like Ruddy have. And that has really spiced up this league. Natives, a roster with a lot of experience in terms of in our division and around other ERLs. They will pick up that first rank thanks to Yeike. Just pointing out some of the names. Obviously, Lulu will ring a bell if you mention Selfie, the former name of the player. Rusty Sniper, though, someone you could look at as well. Aragon spent the whole of last year in NLC Division 1, being a consistent performer on a team that didn't really perform.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking forward into this game. You can see Venom Crest, they want to walk up bot side, they want to trade, but Zubak off of Viego. It's an interesting one, right? Talking about the players and the narratives, Zubak had Viego twice last week as Painful. He's not going to find anything, I don't think, but Zubak might be.
Lulu does have the flash. Emperor's Divide has been used, but he might die regardless. Painful still has the flash. Holds on to it for a second longer. Still finds the solo kill. And that's a mid-diff now in the bot lane, though. Pazzi, the one in trouble yet again, holds on to the flash. A return kill will come through, though. Yeike falls as Deadhound. Locks him up and has the damage. Curtain call as the 4th shot goes wide. Doesn't find the kill, and now Subak is here. Shoei Kamati has to be careful, and he will be forced to flash away.
Yeah, just pulling the trigger with that Nocturne. It's really important you get those ults down as soon as you turn 6 to get it, get as many as you can down and convert that pressure. But still managing to turn it around, really well done from Venom Crest. Turning around a 2v3, and in the end, they tried to dive Deadhound with that wave, but Zubak is there to cover. So something this team has been really good at is moving their players around where they're needed to cover different lanes when they have pressure, right? Pazzi and Zubak, whilst Pazzi's not having a great game this game, he was really good at it last week. And
It is
down a few levels.
it is a bit when you're playing. It is a bit of the thing when you're playing support, right? If you're an
Yeah, that's
engage
true.
support, you're the one making the engages. They either work or they don't. You often pay with your life, and as a squish support like this, you often get focused because with the little gold you have and behind it XP, you're so squishy as painful. I don't know how you found that chain. Good damage on Nulu as Subak has to go back as Shoei Katami shows his face as well. Yaki in the area, painful, really feeling himself going the AP LeBlanc this time around. Not going the 10th AD build we saw just before. That didn't work out in the slightest. And having success on it so far. Impressed by finding that solo kill.
Yeah, you can see so much action happening around in and around mid and bot lane. You can see a bunch of invades happening now from Pasi and Zubak as well, trying to threaten a dive down bot side. So much so that Rusty Sniper needed to recall because he was below half HP. Now invade with Rusty Sniper's recall. Let's see if he secures it.
Oh yeah, gets that blue buff as well. Venom Crest feeling good. They're looking good. 2-0, our only undefeated team in the league so far. As I mentioned, big surprise, but when we turn our eyes to their opponents, Natives 1-1 on the scoreline. With this roster, I would have expected Natives to make playoffs, and obviously I'm speaking very early, we're only 2 games in. They very much still can, but the start hasn't been as confident or as strong as I would initially have expected. And I don't know if it's due to them having a lower level than I predicted, or to other teams that I were unsure about proving to have a way higher level than I originally saw.
It's an interesting one. I think what they've got to do now, though, is with this objective spawning up, they've got moved from mid onto special, but I think Venom Crest can contest this if they really want to. But it's going to be tricky. This game is already so even on the knife's edge. TP coming in from Varus. Let's see who contests and who wins. Zubak is in a bush right now, unwarded.
Pasi, level 4 here. Still one turbo in the play, though. Lenny has built up a bit of
Knockup.
now rage, so we'll look for Smurf. Very squishy at the beginning stage of the game. Same goes for Subak, though, and he's taken down in return. Now, though, Lenny scoop right into the team. He can find 2 with the Gnar. Nulu delivers that on a silver platter for the Venom Crest top laner. Rusty Sniper tries to trade back, but there is nothing to be found. Deadhound claims a double kill for Venom Crest.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. Smurf on this Cassante didn't manage to W the CC from the knockup on Zubak, and in the end just gets chain CC. Let's take a look at this again. Yeah, he gets knocked up. You can see Native Smurfy on that Cassante instantly falls because he didn't manage to get the W down. Maybe it was on cooldown, popped by something else, but it didn't look like it. And Lenny with the huge Gnar against the wall, and Rusty Sniper using the woes of a Jhin versus a tanky target, having to reload, not managing to pick up the kill onto Lenny. And despite starting out the objective first and Lenny having moved second, they managed to come out on top.
They managed to come out on top, and Venom Crest sitting at the top of the tree will be able to claim. I think there's 2 white grubs more they'll be claiming here. Maybe a kill as well on the Smurfer, to be honest, as he has been chained up. The Ghost, I don't know if that's enough. It's pretty tanky, has got a lot of armor already though, so those auto attacks not really hurting. Nulu forced to back away as well. So Venom Crest will go back to their original target, claim that, and I do believe it is the 4th. I don't know if my producer can confirm. I do believe the 5th, maybe rather, as I do believe 1 before the fight did go over to Natives. So that should be 5 if my calculations are correct. So there will be a Voidling spawning, as Shoei Katami and Yaki are looking for a way back into the game, and that is at the moment by invading, and without that paranoia, Yaki doesn't feel confident going in towards Pasi.
Yeah, of course. Like you said, without that paranoia, it's going to be pretty useless. To actually managed to complete Hex play already, so they're going to have to wait for it. I'm surprised they're trying to make a play already. They're sniffed out by Venom Crest. Yeah, items come out right now for Rusty Sniper and the Nocturne, Yeke on this Nocturne. So they're not actually that weak, right? They can potentially contest some kind of objective fight if they want to on this Nocturne or cooldown, which will be up in like 20 seconds. Because they aren't that much further behind. They're actually ahead in items. But Zubak, going to also go to contest. Hops over a ward, though.
And despite the gold lead being small, I do want to highlight some of the key items being hit here. It is in particular for Painful, having his first item complete already. That Luton's Companion, giving that extra bit of burst. Nulu now needing to be just that slight bit
Can he
more
cancel
careful.
it? No, he can't.
I mean, that's really, really big brain though. He did force Smurfy just to stop the back with that pressure. But Deadhound though, 1.5 items already. Got that Yumu Scourge Blade. The serious stacking, I think, Avarice when you snowball, especially with the lethality build, just deals so much damage into what is a still pretty squishy roster. Pretty much everyone else except for Smurfer will feel the hurt of that. Subak looks for the target. Nulu forced to flash. Is Painful. Can't quite connect on the change. A full-blown fight is about to erupt right here. As now the flash forced out from Subak as well. Painful finding himself in a weird scenario. Rusty Sniper can't follow with the flash. Let's see if Painful can dance his way out of this one. Very low. That 4-shot deals good amount of damage. Shut down on towards Rusty Sniper. That's a big one as well. Shut down gold as well 3 1-on-1 now on that Jin as Rusty Sniper looks to make the champ look somewhat useful.
Yeah, Deadhound, not quite there, right? You can see him running up in the middle of that fight because he realizes his whole team has been collapsed on with that Nocturne, tries to catch up, but couldn't make it in time. Props to Nulu there for surviving long enough to be able to win that as his bot lane collapses, but it might continue here. No Nocturne to turn.
Yeah, no smite for Subak though, so the 50-50 isn't really a reality despite the jungler being here. Can he go in though, disrupt, try and do something? The smite comes through, but the kills will look to go over to the side of Venom. Krista found one, but that's a current has been called. Subak is low enough to potentially die, so he dies out of range, and Pasi takes a lot of damage, still very, very squishy. So they'll claim 1 kill. In return, Natives, they get the Drake.
Yeah, playing really well, Natives, around that dragon, finding the pick with the Nocturne, converting it into a dragon. They should be really happy here, despite being a little bit behind, despite the 4-0 and the 2-1 carries on the side of Venom Crest. You know, that soul point condition is online, and it's Cloud and Chemtech early on, which means it's going to be an actual useful dragon, which is good compared to last game with the Cloud Soul. Still, painful. Gonna look for Yeki.
Can he find him? The shield denies the initial pop. Still, good damage, and we can definitely see what this... Oh,
it's
Black
the
wanna
squad.
go. And he's brought out the crew. I can't one-shot fine enough. I'll get my whole team up here. As he sends his all his teammates to help him out. In the end, they'll just steal away the Crux, and even Yeki will still claim many of the small ones with Smurfer helping out. Red buff, the Tiger to Rusty Sniper. He should be able to claim it. Shoryukatami forced to flash though, as both teams continue to look and make their opponents make mistakes. Herald in the eyes. Ultimate paranoia available. Not sure if Natives want to go for this. They will just give it up.
I'm just a bit worried for the side of Natives. Shoryukatami keeps getting picked off and being in unfortunate situations consistently, having to flash away or just not flashing and dying. So a little bit worried by the positioning around these neutral objectives, like this Rift Herald, and getting caught around that Wraith Pit. Now, Rusty Sniper can counter jungle, and that is the saddest counter jungle I've ever seen because of those 4 shots. Yeah, it's just going to reset him. Going to neutralize it. Take a look down bot side, though. Natives want to cross-map down bot side for that Rift Herald. And we've got to see the HP of the tower, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Yeah, painful. Now knows what it's like to be outrange. We'll try and trade a bit with Lulu here and catch as many of the minions as possible. Benny has it as third item spike, feels very strong. Level 11 as well. That knock cooldown now reduced. Smurfer
should be fine.
Realizes he's in a bad situation, but yeah, as you say, will be fine thanks to the Ghost and the W. Being unstoppable is a very nice thing. But instead, though, his turret can't quite do the same. And will go down instead. So the gold lead is still in favor of Venom Crest. The game, in terms of gold, is quite even, but Venom Crest having control of the Rift, they're the ones making the moves, and Natives are the ones responding.
Yeah, gonna get a lot of damage down here with the Void Grubs as well as the trigger's pulled.
Lenny will try and build up the rage, but far from narrowing out at the moment. CC Chain is there, locked up, taken down by Nulu. As next on the menu is Subak. Will go over into the hands of Rusty Sniper. Shutdowns go over, the kills secured, and Natives, they pounce back.
Yeah, really not ideal for the side of Venom Crest. Mega Gnar expires, or rather, he's just in Mini Gnar, and you can just one-shot. That's the problem with this Gnar pick versus the current state of Cassante, is that his ultimate will just one-shot Mini Gnar. And with those 2 deaths, yes, you secure 700 gold from that turret, but you don't want to fall for that. And really good pick. Proactivity with the Nocturne. You know, maybe some disrespect to Nocturne in side lane. Really famous for that still. Overall, I would edge it out to Venom Crest because of how valuable those turrets are. Unfortunately, Venom Crest don't manage to cross-map that topside play with any damage mid lane, and I want them to play for this tier 1 bot side turret now. They can really easily with this Bel'Veth and the setup from a LeBlanc, so we'll have to see how they pilot that. It does look like that's what they're going for.
If they're down, trying to force down this tier 1 will take quite a while. Not on hits, so the Orthodox doesn't do quite as much damage. But gets it quite low, should fall within the next couple of pushes. There is also a Drake coming up in a minute and a half. That is a soul point that we need to keep our eyes on. Both of these AD carries, Aragon, ridiculously strong in terms of both items and gold. 2 items completed on both of them. I will say though, Painful has been struggling after completing that first item. Unable to find the one-shot, doesn't have the damage quite yet, and still getting that second item spike quite a ways away.
Yeah, game has slowed down for him for sure. Hasn't found too much. Some flashes onto Nulu occasionally around the enemy jungle, but even then that backfired versus the Nocturne ulti. Still, Nocturne ult's up now. Dragon spawning in a minute's time. Let's see how Natives can find these objectives. I don't really like this. If they're trying to cross-map topside, there's nothing to take, so I'd rather they just contest mid-prio. Now, Natives, it's really important that they escort Shoryukatami, because he's been getting picked off a little bit too much around these objectives. As Smurfy shifts back topside to defend top, but I don't think he has to worry about too much. He can just catch that wave and TP down again.
2,000 gold the difference. Natives though, the ones who look to be making a move. The Paranoia is available, looking for the flag. Nulu has the flash as well. Deadhound has his. Here comes the Paranoia curtain call as well, and they're going right on towards Deadhound. Instantly forced to flash, will be able to make it out. And it seems like that is all they needed to back off. Zubak though, just a couple orders from Nulu does a lot of damage. That seems to be the sole point. Or at the very least making natives confident enough to go for it, as Deadhound has to recall. Zubak goes for the red buff. Can he get into the pit though? The vision not there yet. He doesn't know what's going on. Instead, without the Q being able to dash over, he just has to back off as Nulu looks for the play. Can't find it, but that soul point is secured, and that is what natives came for.
Yeah, absolutely. Soul point, Hextech Soul on the cards now in the next 5 minutes. So much damage coming in for the side of natives. You can see a Nocturnal and a Curtain Call, and no one is on that composition. That team comp can catch the Curtain Call, so it's really, really painful. And it's just showcases the value of something like Cassante. I think Cassante might be, after this game, 3-for-0 today. Might be wrong about the first game, but still really, really powerful in having attack. And I guess that's why they banned that Ornn. Someone to disrupt the damage of that Jhin who really struggles. And that's the problem they're facing. They need to be able to find a pick or something like this, play for side lane with this LeBlanc. They can't just win the straight up front to back, which is something we highlighted that natives are really good at with this composition. They have a tank in front, and the scaling of the Azir plus Jhin in the back line. You really need to find a pick in the side lane, Zubak. You need to go down bot side here with this Gnar, but the problem is Cassante is so damn tanky. So what do? They're kind of stonewalled here.
Yeah, and that is the right question you ask, right? We've seen that scenario play out a couple times up in the top side. What happens? Smurf presses Ghost, then just W's away as soon as the W is about to come out from Zubak, and he continues to happily walk along the rest of his day. So what else can they do? Well, they can look for Nulu maybe up the side lane, but he also has dashes to try and get out of sticky situations. So it is a tough one to say the least, but anything can happen, and at this level it is not uncommon for oversteps. And I guess that's just what they need to look for, or try and force them around the rift and the objectives. But they just don't want to force themselves into a front to back, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to play down to bot side here. One map split for the other map split. You know, Nulu's going to take that top side tier 1 whilst Venom Crest that. As Passy's low, they can't catch
he
these.
Is so squishy, man. And look who has to tank. It is someone like Deadhound who now gets engaged upon. Will stay alive as the W connects, and it's not quite enough. And instead, Yaki, the one to fall. Natives though find a turret as a response. Nulu on the top side, not falling for the bait. Trade though, as Lenny finds that bottom lane tier 1. Smurfer might be in trouble, no flash. Remember, the Ghost no pop then. As I just discussed, will just walk happily along his day. Painful! Dies underneath his own turret. What's happened here? As Nulu, very low, will fall to the auto attack. Goes over into the pocket of Deadhound, but forces the TP out of his hand.
Yeah, LeBlanc getting solo killed by an Azir under turret is an interesting one. Didn't have that on my bingo card. That is something I don't think I've ever seen. Still, some nice movement from Smurfing down the bot side on that gank, dodging out on the Belveth knockup with that move speed from the Ghost. But yeah, Nulu really getting the better of Painful come this mid game, like you highlighted before. It's really, really rough. As Zubak, he might be caught here. He's going to find the 1-2.
No, he's caught someone. Rusty Sniper, forced to flash. It's the damage there. Finally, it comes through. A couple more auto attacks was all they needed. Zubak
shut down.
Happily trades his life for that shutdown. That's worth for Venom Crest as they hit that 40k gold mark.
Yeah, absolutely. But you see, I just saw Deathcap spawn in this Azir's inventory, man, and it's not pretty. Let's take a look at what happened here. Thanks to the replay observers, and he just walks past, tanks a bunch of hits. Does Nulu take the EQ?
Goes in for the wave. Now has no mobility.
Huh. He just kills him. All right. Well, the TP comes down for Varus. Yeah, he just kills him. Under tower, Varus Deadhound managed to secure a shutdown, I believe, onto him afterwards, TPing in, but still, really nice play. Nulu getting the better hand of this matchup.
And to think about how the matchup changed, right? Nulu had been solo killed during the laning phase by Painful, who masterfully found his way to that solo kill. And this time, Nulu scaled up, plays it correctly, gets the damage, and just kills him, as you said. Analysis isn't always hard. Just kill him.
Yeah, and Lenny, Minion, gotta be careful a little bit. They can
is low, same goes for Deadhound. Here comes the Paranoia. They've found their target, but still, the kill not quite there.
Nulu!
The Emperor's Divide, though, finds them both from Nulu. He's still alive as Painful tries to trade back, but it's a change, can't connect. Venom Crest can't find the kill until finally Lily trades his life for it. As Painful and Zubak now the final member standing. Smurfer, he's all outed, and they've found 4 kills, 3 rather, It's a fight for natives and the soul. They can get control over the objective.
Yeah, they can get secure soul now. They can be extremely happy. There's not much that the side of Venom Crest, Zubac, and Painful can do. At the very least, they managed to pick off a Azir, and that is huge. Neither one of this Azir was their priority, their main ability to kill this Baron with the DPS. Now, let's take a look at what happened here. How did Pazzi get so chanked? Did he just get hit by an ult Q from Karma, or was it some Jhin damage? Oh, it was the turret.
Oh,
no, it was just the turret. Okay. Did Jhin continues to poke here? Or what happened? Okay, so it was another turret shot. Nocturne ult goes in onto the flashless AD carry over the Heimerdinger, which was great isolation, but then Nulu
catches them both with that Emperor's Divide. And the damage as well. Painful misses that chain. I think that could have killed Nulu, but Lenny though, able to trade it. Still, not in the favor of Venom Crest, who were the ones with the lead early on.
And this is the power of the scaling.
That's the soul.
Yep. Yeah. Can Venom Crest defend this choke? They have control, at the very least. They're first on the objective. I wonder if natives just go and threaten Baron here, or they still force their way in. They do have Nocturne Paranoia, so let's see if they pull the trigger here.
Yeah, they want that soul. 7,000 HP and dropping. Lenny about to now out. No flash, and pretty much everyone except for Deadhound, really. Good damage on towards the tank, but it's only on towards Smurfit. Never mind though, Smurfit is squishy. Same for Pazzi. Both of them now gone. The soul has been denied, but the fight not yet decided. Lenny in the front line though takes so much damage in the backline. Yaki having fun with his opponents. Triple kill for Rusty Sniper. He's made Jhin look like a champion, and it's the ace for Nades as the Baron is their prize, and the gold lead will follow.
And Smurfit gets caught on at the beginning of the fight without that W. Managed to get absolutely one pop, but it does not matter. The damage is way too high. Rusty Sniper breaking the Jhin curse, like you said. Let's take a look at this again. The damage comes through. He gets Chains of Corruption, can't W because they're mobilizing. And it gets absolutely one shot. Now, Lenny tries to go in. What happens to him? He goes towards the Karma in zones 3 alone, but it's just not enough because you can see Yake down in the bot side, one-shotting Deadhound, and the W from the snipe, from the Rusty Sniper, completely carrying these fights. As Painful then gets killed by the support Karma. Shawikatami finishing him off, and that should be a Baron.
And exactly, as you said, Aragon, that is the Baron. Was that Zubac who tried to do something about it? No, Deadhound Smurfit sacrifices himself for that. Will they lose more? Here's the question. Hexgate coming through the resets. Haven't been able to be there. Nulen on the target. He goes for Painful, but himself might taste a painful death. That's the Baron gone. Will trade back on Painful, but denying 2 Barons. 3 Barons, rather. It's a very decent outcome for Venom Crest, considering how bad that situation looked.
Yeah, and just general really good overall play from natives. That Hextech Soul is going to be such a pain to deal with. That's what I'm looking at. They still managed to get the Baron onto Yake, I believe. So just going to wait for everyone to spawn. They can pretty much play it pretty easily. They can barrel it down mid if they want to, or they can play side with that threat, the Nocturne ultimate. I don't think Venom Crest are going to be able to do anything with this, with these Death Timers, because they are facing down onto this Baron there. Take a look at the top side now. Rusty Sniper can just auto them, right? Hextech Jhin is not balanced. Oh my word.
Let's just see the curtain call. Can he connect? Yes, he can, is the emphatic answer. As Yaki would now like to go for more, but can't quite find him in the Paranoia. I was certain in the fight we had before Venom Crest were able to deny the soul, but I have been mistaken. Want to make that clear. Yaki able to get the steal off. It looked like Zubac to me got it, but I was wrong. That is now the Hextech Soul as well. I had been flaming on Jhin. Rusty Sniper, you're a phenomenal player, maybe, making this champ look good. 9 and 2, his damage is incredible. And this is one of the points you've been making all along, Aricon. But Jhin against Squishes, though, does do damage. It's just against tanks where he really struggles.
Yeah, and honestly, in terms of team composition as well, just keep it simple, right? It's so easy to play this composition. You just group up as 5 Rusty movement.
Sniper,
dodges
man.
that.
He goes where he pleases. He does not care. He goes underneath the turrets. He's still full HP. He just found the opponent's ADC, man. What?
I just dodge out that Velvet W at the end there as well. Rusty Sniper just so fast. How do you deal with him as the flank comes in?
Looking for something, but he's gone towards the support. You need to get Rusty Sniper because he one-shots whoever he looks at. Nulu goes forward. The Emperor's Divide goes wide, but who cares? It's Venom Crest have nothing left to do in this game. It is natives having all the fun. Smurfit wasn't even there.
And it looks like it's going to wrap it up all but ending through their Nexus now as they... Oh, don't do it to him. Pazzi, no!
That's the Paranoia. We'd have to require a Pentakill from Deadhound, but they're dead in the water. Venom Crest no longer undefeated. Natives 2-1. And what a win in just 28 minutes. Rusty Sniper and Nulu. I don't know who needs to be MVP here. They both played phenomenal League of Legends.
I think it has to be Rusty, right? I also think, fair shout to Yeke, managing to find the ultimates and find picks in a lot of these fights. I think my mind goes back to that top lane siege at tier 2, which Venom Crest tried to take, but then they get punished by the Nocturne ulti and the 5-man collapse. I think that's really where it started going downhill for them. And on top of that, their composition, it was so hard to play because the amount of lead they needed to get to not be outscaled by an Azir Jhin with a frontline was super high. So I think evaluating the early game, seeing if they could snowball a little bit better is probably the way forward here.
What a game. And we no longer have an undefeated team in the NLC. That just spices everything up so much more. There's still one game to go though. But before we get into that, we'll head into a break. And when we come back, the analyst desk will break down Native's win, which moves them up to first place in the standings.
At SteelSeries, we make the headsets, mice and keyboards that the world's best gamers win the most with. And we've been doing it since way back. It's up to you how far you go, but whatever you do, go for glory.